Hi, this is Ken Jarecke, and today we're talking pictures with Sue Morrow. Sue is a longtime leader in the photojournalist community in the United States. Currently, she's the, I guess, the editor-in-chief of News Photographer magazine, which is kind of the magazine. It's for the National Press Photographers Association. It's kind of one of the ways that photographers keep in touch. And I know she's got her finger on the pulse of what's happening out there. I just thought it'd be good to talk to her today. Hi, Sue.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me today.
I'm doing great. It's great to
Good.
see you.
It's good to
Where are
see you.
you? Oh,
I am in Athens, Ohio,
okay.
in southeastern Ohio with Ohio University and working from home.
Um, so tell me what you're up to these days. I just got my latest issue of
Good.
News Photographer. What I know you've probably you're hearing from all over the country. Tell me some of the things you're hearing.
Yeah, it's been, oh wow. I know I've not really stopped to talk about this.
No,
I work
Sue,
from home.
I know you've been busy. You've been working around the clock, and I know that that we none of us have really stopped to think about this too much because we're dealing with day-to-day things. We're dealing with things as they happen. So I didn't want to put you on the spot there, but
Not
I
at
know
all.
you have something to say.
Yeah, and it was a pause out of, oh my God, I really haven't really stopped to talk about this because we've all been holed up in our little places, and a lot of that is in our heads. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to this, because what is so interesting is that as unconnected as we are at the moment, photographers are out there, they're first responders, they're doing the work, they're trying to stay well. Um, People like me stay home and work from my little cubby hole. I was working from home before this pandemic. Um, it's a different kind of impact when you're at home. So I am very well aware of people that are doing the harder work than I'm doing. That said, I think I told you in an email this morning that I'm just fatigued, and I'm not complaining. Please note, this is not a complaint. I've got a cat wandering around here, so she's she's wanting to come into the picture. So um, um, it's just a very different place to be. So let me explain a little bit about what's going on with the NPPA right now. I'm not on the board, so I'm not sure what people really understand about the structure of the NPPA these days. Um, it's a volunteer board. I don't know the full number of the board. I want to say around 15 to 18 people. And among that board is the executive committee, which is about 5 or 6 people. So I'm an employee. I'm not on the board, but the EC committee invites me to sit in on some of their meetings. Last Sunday, we had an emergency EC meeting on Sunday night. It lasted a little over 2 hours. Because people were like, how can the NPPA be of service to our members? We want to be here for you. And I think what I heard from that was a tremendous amount of empathy and the wanting to support the advocacy work of Mickey and Alicia never stops. We were on the phone last night updating on AB5, the Assembly Bill California bill that has run rampant against freelancers in the state of California. There was an update to that, and Alicia and I were on the phone last night doing a web post at 11 o'clock East Coast time. So those guys never stop. We are a small staff. It's Akili Ramses, the executive director. It's me as the editor of the magazine and website. It's Thomas Kenneth. He takes care of member services and the website and a lot of other things. And we're in 3 different places. Akili is in the other Athens, in Athens, Georgia, the headquarters. I'm here in Athens, Ohio, and Thomas is in North Carolina. So we're working remotely. And know that I want our members to know that in the background right now, there is an incredible effort going on via email, what we can do for members. And out of that call on Sunday came this huge resource list that you will find on nppa.org. And I want to put out as a very special thank you to Melissa Little. She's the outgoing past president. She's in DC. She's an independent photojournalist. She's got an incredible social media following and a very strong, energetic, enthusiastic voice for what we do. She has pitched in. She started pitching in a month ago when I said, I need help. I'm buried. She says, how can I help? Can I help do the newsletter? So Melissa has taken that newsletter and she's putting her energies into it. And I love it. I just love it. And I think that as a leader, sometimes the best thing we can do is ask for help. And my strengths, her strengths are not my strengths. Her strengths are that social contact. I'm a bit of an introvert. So her strengths are those connections. And I don't know if people have noticed, I certainly hope they have, but that newsletter is turning into a real connection to let the members know who our board is. And she's doing these 5 questions. That's really cool. And there's a resource list for our members on nppa.org that we keep updating. Josh, oh my God, I'm going to get the name wrong. I'm sorry, Andy Cowell. He is he's gathered a lot of this data that we've got a Google Doc going, and I go in a couple times a day and update the website. So that is going on. There's a lot of information there. And the one thing that is different right now is that, we've never, Akili and I talk about this a lot. We are not a breaking news organization. The NPPA has always been here to support our members and the photojournalism community. And right now it feels like we're a breaking news service for our members. So it's a very different energy right now. And I woke up this morning at 4 a.m. and my mind was like, worry, 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 worry. And honestly, I took a half a pill and went back to sleep. Woke up at 11 a.m. And so this is what you get. I'm not going to apologize. I think I'm here. I'm right where the rest of the world is at the moment. And so this is a marathon, people. I tend to look on the bright side of things. I do the rose-colored glasses probably too much. I have hope. I think there's a lot that we're going to learn to come out of this. I think we're going to be doing things a lot differently. That said, the financial impact that is hitting people right now is devastating. And that's the part that the NPPA is trying to figure out. How do we support our members and going forward? Because this is, I just have a gut feeling that we're going to be here for a while. And we're resilient people, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. We can handle all this.
We are problem solvers.
Right.
As an organization, as journalists, photojournalists particularly, we are boots on the ground, and technically, logistically, we are problem solvers. So I have hope that we're going to come out of this better in a lot of ways, but there's also going to be some real changes, and that changes in how many people are maybe able to do this work, or it's just the resources available. That's the part that worries me, to be honest.
So you mentioned, first of all, I'm glad you mentioned what Melissa is up to. Uh, she's out there on social media.
Yeah,
She's getting the word out on the NPPA resource list, and we'll link to that. This will be
thanks.
linked on this episode,
Thanks.
and that's so important. Information is important, but knowledge is important, and people
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
you and Melissa, who have been in the business for a long time, have that institutional knowledge that we
Yeah.
kind of have to pull from. You mentioned the bill in California, and I want to talk about that a little bit now because you probably know these numbers. You know, Melissa is an independent photojournalist, like you said. We're basically all freelancers now. There's very
Yeah.
few staff jobs or even there's no contract jobs, I don't think.
Right.
What is that? So the California bill makes it very hard for us who are basically in the gig economy
Right.
to make a living there
Right.
anymore.
Right.
But what are the numbers nationwide as far as freelance photographers working as photojournalists?
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be helpful with that. I'm not a numbers person. Ugh. um, I'm going to encourage you to reach out to Mickey and Alicia for that. They are at the forefront of that. And instead of being wrong in what I say, I would rather them speak to the numbers and the impact of that. I mean, Alicia was out in LA a week before last for a hearing and a meeting about AB5. So they've been boots on the ground for ever since this came into effect. So I apologize, but at the same time, I don't want to give you bad information about numbers.
No, no worries.
Just how my brain works.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
What are you seeing a lot of images or people sharing images with you? How's
Oh
that?
my God. Yeah. So one thing that came out of the EC meeting last Sunday was this. Was sitting there. Okay. So here was the plan. Best of Photojournalism gets judged. When was that? The end of it was March 3rd. Mark Johnson from UGA downloaded all the first place awards to me. So I dive in. I'm starting to do the Best of Photojournalism magazine, which is, I want to say, 132 pages. Got to have it to the printers by March 30th because our banquet is April 15th in Atlanta. And we want those issues for the banquet. And then here we are. So last Sunday, I was halfway through the issue, the BOP issue. And then last Sunday on that call, I was just listening a lot. And I thought, oh my God, I am I'm working the wrong thing here. And I kind of raised my hand and we're on a Zoom call and it's like, let me pitch something. I said, if it's all okay with you, let me just put the brakes on the BOP issue. We will do that. We will absolutely do that. Let's be more relevant. If we're talking about how we can connect with members, let's be more relevant here with the magazine. Put the brakes on BOP. Save us a little money doing so in the meantime. Let me do the next issue on COVID. And that's where I started. A couple days ago, I put out this little video. I learned how to make a video, a little movie from my desktop and did this thing in InDesign and put the call out. I'd like to see your work and I want your stories to share with members. And by the way, um, uh, talking to previous editors, Don Burton, God, sorry, Tom Burton and Don Winslow, uh, um, it was really basically up to me when I became editor to say, do I use all member work? Do I use any work? And where my mind is like, I want to show the best work that's out there. And if they're not members, maybe they will become members, but I don't pressure that. So I'm hearing from everybody. So when I put that little video out on social media, I've been, the last 2.5 days have been nothing but inbox full of work from people. They send me links to the work. They send me low res files or high res files. And I know there's concern about that, but understand that I'm responsible. We're responsible with people's work. Um, one of the best things about this job from a year and a half ago, from when I stepped into these shoes, is it's an honor to work with people, and they're so giving. It's like gold nuggets in my email, and I might get a little emotional here. I've always felt like I'm a conduit for people's work as a picture editor, and I really am happy in that place. You know, it's not about me. It's about showing the work that's getting done and how to display that. And of course, I'm very print centric, and I'm not going to apologize for that. I think that there's value in that. However, at the same time, we're adapting our work to online, and I'm working on that. But the response has been phenomenal. And it's because of this. Photojournalists give a shit about what we're going through. And we show that. And we are first responders. And to see my inbox to what I get, and then they thank me for what I do, come on. And so right now, thank you for what everybody is doing out there.
Well,
Yeah.
you make a great point, and you do it with a great kind of passion, and I love to see that. I, I've held for a long time that photojournalists, the best ones, uh, empathy is their main tool is empathy,
Yep.
and in a picture editor, in that partnership between a photographer and a picture editor, it's if you have a picture editor with that same empathy and that same passion, then you can really accomplish something in print or online. And
Yeah.
I just love to see that. I'm just so thank you for
Well,
that. Are you sharing these images now, or
no,
are you holding off?
I'm holding off, but yet I'm thinking about how to approach this. You know, this isn't a normal time. So what do I do here? Um, I'm all about being an editor. So, and there's only me. So I've got to be realistic on how I do this. So I'm not real sure at the moment. Um, and I don't really have to have this thing till press. My goal is it's bi-monthly. So for example, this is the May, June issue. Wait, March, April. Yeah, this is the May, June issue, and we're in
Yes.
mid-March.
Yeah.
So I would love to have this to the press, to our printers by mid-April, so people can have it by the May 1st. But I'm like, I'm going to get this thing done as soon as I can, but within reason, to be able to be as accurate and document this thing as much as possible by the time it gets to mailboxes. That said, as clunky as our website is at the moment, and if anybody's out there that would like to rebuild one for us, call me. It's nothing
I've
new.
got some free time. You got some free time, so please.
Um, 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 there's more opportunities to do this online. And I'm thinking about that. Just know that I'm thinking about that in the background. But the editor in me wants to maintain the quality that the magazine has has put as a bar. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, so I'm getting a good range. I mean, the range is like, wow, this is amazing. And it's all over the world. We are the National Press Photographers Association. Well, I gotta tell you, this week it feels like
The international.
international. So I'm hearing from people from everywhere, Korea, Italy, Bosnia, and it's like, holy crap. So, that gives me a lot of hope about our reach. And it's like what we can do for an organization, but know that we are a relatively small organization these days. Our numbers are nowhere near they were in what, 25 years ago,
Sure.
the golden era. I don't go back. I don't want to go backwards on that, but it's just like we have a lot of resources. And I think that there's a silver lining in things. This is my optimism coming back in. There's an opportunity to learn from this and how to connect more with people. So my little tagline out of that meeting last Sunday, I was taking notes, is like, we are here for you. And I mean it. We mean it. We are here for you. And I can tell you when we get off this call, my email is going to be filled with um, uh, messages and ideas from the board. There's just a lot of string of conversation going on in the background today and all week, but mostly it happens on weekends. And pacing myself wise, I I just have, and working from home, you feel like you never let go of
Sure.
work. And so the pacing of it is just like, okay, I've just got to take this in as it comes and ask for help like I did with Melissa. So just know that things are rolling. Um, and I'm also an impatient person because I come from a newsroom.
Sure.
So it's like, why isn't this happening a bit quicker? Um, but I've gotten better at that. It's like, nope, you've got a lot of support around you. It just looks a lot different right now. So I'm hoping that people will feel that from the organization. We're here for you. We're trying to figure this out. The ID cards that people get, for example, because things have been shut down, the printing of those and the mailing of those out, it's like, oh my God. So we're trying to figure out um, how to keep that going, because that is a mechanism for people to help do the work. If
Right.
they've got their ID card, NPPA AID card, when they're out working, um, that's going to help them. So know that we're trying to figure that out in the background today as well.
So, is there any, I know you're probably not ready for prime time with some of these ideas you guys are working on, but I'm a silver lining type of guy too. And are there any thoughts that just are percolating out there of like how we can strengthen the industry, how we can help freelancers, since we're basically all freelancers now? How are there any thoughts on that you can share?
Um, this is going to sound so, I don't know, what's the word for it? I think we begin with support and empathy. That doesn't cost anything. Um, I think we have to look a little bit differently about how we go about the business of work. And I don't even know what I mean by that. But even when I look at my own work, I know it's going to change. Um, I'm not saying that the magazine is going to go away. I've never had that conversation, but I know in the back of my mind, it's like, uh, maybe it should, to save money for the organization, to do the same kind of content online. So I say that as an example of, we have to think differently. And it doesn't mean that we do change everything, but we have to go about doing things a little bit, a different expectation of the end. Um, I don't feel like I'm being very helpful in answering that question, but
Well,
um,
no, it's helpful in that we have to think out loud at this point. It
that's
has
a
to
really
be
good way to put it.
it has to be kind of a community effort. And
Yeah,
so just this little podcast, whatever we vlog, whatever we call it, it's not going to, maybe it doesn't have any clear cut answers, but it moves the conversation along. And that's kind of what I'm
yeah,
trying to do.
exactly, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. So, when we talk about membership of the NPPA, it's like, yeah, join up, be a part of this. Of course, do that. But honestly, it's hard to say that right now because people don't have money
Right.
and they're just, feeding their kids for God's sake. So, what I'm hoping is that our organization can be there for the greater good and stick with us and we'll be better for it, you know? Strength in numbers, man. There's a lot to it. And look how we're connecting right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
gold. That is
Yeah.
just golden. There's a lot of people that are rethinking things. I mean, there's so many organizations right now with resource lists, right? Um, they're out there, and that means it's painfully clear that people want to help. I could,
People want to help and people need help, and it's
yeah.
okay to need help. That's another thing.
And there's short-term help. There's over the long-term help that you're looking at, and um, yeah, I could probably list a few here, but I don't want to sound like I'm advertising.
Now we'll link to the NPPA's resource list, and that'll be
Yeah,
helpful for
that's fine.
people.
That'd be
Yeah.
cool. Good deal.
So
I don't want to leave anybody out by that.
no, I think I think we're both, like we said, we're silver lining people, and I
Yeah.
think the longer you wait on this May-June issue, the more likely you're going to have a happy ending to complete that narrative.
Ooh, talk to
I
me.
well
Um, Flesh
I
that
think
idea out a little bit because that helps me think about things.
well I think we're going to start seeing some good news at some point,
Okay.
and it might be 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
But you can already see it now. We have people people dropping groceries off at people's houses. We have
Mhm.
nurses that are s- you know I mean I in the childcare industry, a lot of nurses have children that need to be watched so they can go to work, and you have neighbors, you have the community stepping up just so they can go to work. There are these stories out there that I think
Yeah.
are positive, and at some point we're going to not only round the whatever we call it, the curve here, but we're going to beat this thing. And you know the warmer it gets, the better it gets, the further along we get, the more we learn. I just think that by the time you're ready to close that issue, that there will be, you know, that silver lining will appear. That's my
That's
thoughts.
Thank you. That's very helpful because, you know, as an editor, you work with what you've got and then you work with what you hope you're going to get. And that includes how's the story going to be? How's the narrative going to go? And, your brain is always, the wheels are always turning. It's like, so that's very helpful to hear your thoughts. Thanks for that.
Oh, thank you, Sue, and
Okay.
it's great to talk to you. And thank you for sharing today.
Thank you. Thanks for doing this.
Okay, talk to
Okay.
you soon.
Take care. Oh, bye bye.